What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Referring to LeBron James as Bronny Sr. As always, I'm your host, Zach Cronin, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 2024 rookie class to see how they've been settling into their NBA careers. There was not a lot of expectation with this class. No one projected any of these guys to be anywhere near star quality. If you recall, there was, I forget if he was a scout or an exec, but he basically said that picking first overall in this year's class was like getting a chance at Tobias Harris. Not a lot of star power, whether it was internationally with Zach Rizache and Alexander Sarr, or even domestically with someone like Jared McCain, Dalton Connect. There just isn't anybody who really seems like they can be the face of the franchise in this class, but that's okay. As long as you're able to develop these guys into productive pros, that's really the best you can ask for, again, considering what we expected from this class. There are, however, a couple of guys who have stood out, even though they may or may not be, on the star path. I'm looking at someone like Stephon Castle. Dalton Connect has looked very good in his time with the Lakers. Carlton Carrington as well. When it comes to the Rookie of the Year race, however, I feel like there are really only three guys who are ahead of everybody right now, and those are Jared McCain, Zach Edey, and Jalen Wells. McCain has been the best rookie in this class. I really don't. It's definitely debatable in terms of overall stats. He doesn't, jump out at you. He's averaging a shade under 15 points per game, but really doesn't produce too much in any other area of the floor. He's only averaging like what, 2 rebounds and 2.5 assists. But in terms of scoring, in terms of efficiency, and also in terms of what he's done over these last 4 games, he looks incredible. And you combine that with the fact that he's only 20 years old and has been asked to do so much with this Sixers team who's been struggling with injuries. Zach Edey, just a quick overview on some of his metrics: 11.5 points on 62% shooting. He's also averaging about 7 rebounds per game. Jalen Wells, the other guy that I mentioned, has been he's very similar to McCain in the sense that he's only really scoring. He's at 11.5 points per game, shooting 43.5% from the field. Since this video is about Jared McCain, I do want to talk a little bit more about him because I feel that he's been the best rookie in this class in terms of being able to transition so seamlessly into the NBA, particularly on offense. If we look at his last 4 games, this is where the majority of his production has come. We'll actually even do his last 5. He is averaging 26 points on 48% shooting from the field and 44% from three. This also includes a 34-point, 10-assist double-double that he had against the Cleveland Cavaliers. He looks NBA ready. The way that he plays, the way that he's able to get into the paint, the way he's able to find his spots and absorb contact, he just looks very comfortable playing in the NBA. All things considered, Jared McCain to me seems to be leading the Rookie of the Year race. I don't want to say running away with it because the Philadelphia 76ers are off to a shit start. They're just 2-10, and I don't know how much of team success is going to play a role in the overall voter base. I know for me it doesn't really matter when it comes to Rookie of the Year. I am exclusively looking at how well these rookies have performed, and to me, Jared McCain stands out the most. Admittedly, I was not too optimistic about Zach Edey's transition to the NBA, and it appears that he's transitioning just fine. His size, his mobility, none of that seems to be an issue. He's performing like it. He's making 62% of his shots as a rookie. He's also shooting 68% from three, despite it being low volume. I've just been really, really impressed with how Jared McCain has performed. And I think this is something that is easily going to extend throughout the rest of the season. If you go back and you watch his tape, he's not doing anything extravagant. He's not doing anything extraordinary that you're going to, say, oh, he's just, this is just all luck. It's not. He has a legitimately good foundation as a basketball player, and he's performing well in a role that he also performed well in for Duke. He's averaging, in terms of points per game, about the same. His shooting hasn't fallen off. He hasn't missed a free throw yet this season. If I'm the Sixers, I'm excited about what he brings to the table and how he's going to be able to assist them if they are able to crawl out of this of this below 500 hole that they've put themselves into. Another thing that really impresses me about McCain's transition is how he's doing this with star level usage. As it stands right now, his usage rate is 28.5%. Here I have a table of all of the Rookie of the Year winners since the 2000-2001 season, and at this rate, McCain's usage is on pace to be the fourth highest of this century, behind only Wemby, Luka, and Kyrie. Now, obviously, there is a huge difference between basically everybody on this list and Jared McCain, and it's that the majority of these guys on this list were drafted with the idea that they were going to be franchise players, except for somebody like Malcolm Brogdon and potentially Mike Miller. I'm not old enough to remember what it was like for Mike Miller coming into the NBA, but I don't want this to be a comparison. If anything, this would just be a comparison of that it's likely McCain winds up going to be the Rookie of the Year winner, only because typically the more you're used by your franchise, the more opportunity you have to produce. And of course, the more opportunity you have, the better numbers you're going to put up if you are a decent basketball player. Again, this is just advanced metrics. If you look at the counting stats of these guys, obviously it's not comparable at all. If we do it just purely based on counting stats, McCain is near the bottom of this list. Again, not to say that he doesn't have the potential to be a good player. It's just putting into perspective really how different this class is compared to a couple of the ones prior to it. If nothing else, McCain is showcasing the potential expansion of his game in a world where the Sixers have moved on from Joel Embiid. The big three doesn't work and they look to rebuild around Maxey. McCain is showing that he can be more than just a spot up shooter. He appears to be a player who can take control of the offense at times. The kind of player who, at this rate, is going to be a very solid number 2 for this team in the future. On a per 36 minutes basis, he's averaging a little bit under 27. That does not extrapolate to anything meaningful, but it's more so just him showcasing the array of possibilities that the Sixers have with developing him. The counting numbers are really rough for this class. In just the lottery itself, there are only 3 guys averaging double digits. One of them is Alex Sarr, who is only half a point above 10. It has not looked that great. However, in terms of win shares per 48 minutes, which seems to be my favorite advanced metric as of late, there are a handful of guys who are contributing to winning at a rate above the league average. Again, these guys mostly project to be role players. Who's on this list? Donovan Clingan is on this list. Zach Edey is on this list. Jared McCain is on this list as well. It's probably going to be a really uneventful Rookie of the Year race. I don't expect it to be covered with as much anticipation as last year or the year before it. I don't think that any one of these 3 guys, any of the 3 in my top 3 are going to do anything to wow us by the end of the season. You know, Zach Edey isn't going to average 3.5 blocks per game. Jared McCain, I don't think, is going to be a 20-point per game scorer by the end of this season. Even still, McCain, to me, appears to be the best rookie in the NBA. He has performed very solidly in this role that is ever expanding. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and close this video out. Thank you guys so very much for coming to hang out with me today. Everything I'm associated with is down in the description box below. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Drop a comment as well. It really helps out with the algorithm. If you do any of those 3 things, you will become my new favorite person. And with that, I will see y'all in the next one.